to chat with other viewers and ask us questions about your favorite classics from the hundreds past. You can also hit the shopping cart tab and purchase these one-of-one pieces to add to your personal collection. Before we get into this week's haul from the vault, I just want to let you know there are still a couple pieces that are still available from past episodes. Wanted to show you that stuff. To start, we have the public label camo shorts that are still available on Greatest Hits. This is a really great piece. Jag embroidery on the pocket. A lot of different pocket features and other stuff like that as well. They run a size 34 and of course have the classic public label, the hundreds tag. So yeah, these products, as well as a bunch of other products that we just released, are available on the shopping cart tab. So as you view the episode, you can go ahead and shop. This is basically like an interactive live shopping network. So get these pieces. Everything is one of one. You don't want to sleep on this stuff. Other stuff we have from past episodes. You got the 18 tees. So that'll kind of lead me to segue into our guest today, the head of Mixed Media Productions, John Shanasafar. What's up, my friend? How are you?
What up?
So yeah, man, are these bringing you back?
Yeah, oh my God.
Okay.
This is getting me honestly so excited right now. This is probably my favorite t-shirt the hundreds has ever done.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about like the design.
Which design is this again? This is 18?
Yeah.
So this is the second rendition of this t-shirt, right? The first one was a little bit different, I feel like, and that was way early on. It was from like I can't even remember, it was early mid 2000s. And it was just that oversized print in your face graphic. And this one's actually kind of dope because we did the white on white, black on black. And this was like one of Bobby's first like real hitter designs. This thing was so G-ified. I totally remember this.
And so did you print this one? Or was this before?
This was before Mixed Media.
Okay, cool. So can you give us just like a little bit of background about Mixed Media Productions in general? Like how did you get started with it? How did you get into clothing production? How did you get into like screen printing and all of that sort of stuff?
So I started back full time with the hundreds in 06, I believe it was, 05, right after I graduated UCLA. I started working full time with my brother, and we needed a production manager for all of our printables. Mm-hmm. So I went to our screen printer, which at the time was this place called Sticks in Van Nuys, and we which was actually kind of convenient for me because I lived in the Valley, so it was a 5-minute drive to go to work every single day because that's where I was at basically 3 days a week. That's where I didn't know anything about clothing production or printables at all. I kind of was just thrown into the mix of it. And I learned everything about screen printing through working at Sticks and the guys that were running the company at the time. Mm-hmm.
And so screen printing and clothing production, it's not necessarily like a trade you can go study. It's something you like just have to go submerge yourself in.
Yeah, I don't think this is something you can go to school for.
Yeah.
No way. Screen printing is something that you have to actually get thrown into the mix and learn all the different traits. There's so many different things that go into actually printing a t-shirt that you wouldn't even think that actually goes into it.
Like what are some of those things?
Just different things like, for instance, just printing a white on white. If you want to print it flat, there's a certain technique that you could do called flashing, which if you just print it one time with just a white flat print on it, it would be just a plain flat white where you wouldn't be able to really see it. But then if you throw a flash in it, which is basically you lay down one layer of ink, which is called the underbase, and then you lay down another layer on top. In between that, there's basically like a quick flash oven, it's called a flash, mm-hmm. that goes over the shirt in the middle of the print, flashes it at 600 degrees, and then it goes on to the next color, which would, on this one would still be white, and then lays down another layer of white ink on top of the print, and then basically makes that white a little bit shiny so you could see it a little bit better. Okay. You know what I mean? So a lot of different techniques like that go into the actual screen printing of it all.
Okay. And so what was your initial introduction to the hundreds? Like Ben Hundreds is obviously your brother, but right. So how did you like just become involved? Was streetwear and clothing something you were already always interested in?
I've been into clothing ever since I was, I don't know, in high school.
Yeah.
You know, back in the 90s, the big brands were Stussy, Fucked. Those were the main streetwear labels. There wasn't really anything else that was out there. Then you had, obviously, in the late 90s, you had a Nietzsche, you had Obrex was kind of big back then. Echo was huge. That was in the late 90s, and that basically morphed into what we know as streetwear today, which basically paved the way for the hundreds, Crooks and Castles, Diamond, you know, and morphed in now to what is like high end, you know, like Supreme, which is basically that, even that's 90s is Supreme, but that's like considered high end now, you know what I mean? So back then I was constantly buying sneakers, looking for the next brand out there. I mean, you didn't really have the internet back then.
Yeah.
So you had to search through magazines, or, I mean, that was the only media back then was magazines, right?
What were streetwear magazines in the 90s?
There was no streetwear magazines. You would have to look into skate mags. You would have to look into the source. You would have to look into rap pages.
And just see what people were wearing, like trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, back then, a lot of those streetwear brands were doing advertising in those magazines.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you don't really see that kind of advertising today. Because everything is all on the internet, so there isn't really any print media anymore. So it's more and more going back to how it was in the 90s, like word of mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, in the 90s also, like I said, it was all magazines and things like that. But it also went hand in hand with sneakers and what Nike was doing back then too, or Reebok. I mean, Reebok was really big back then. Adidas was really big back then in the 90s. But yeah, I mean, that's ever since I was like 15 years old, I was always into clothing, t-shirts. Main spot I would go get t-shirts from was Workman's Outlet on Melrose.
Okay.
I mean, that was way before your time, you know?
What kind of stuff were they selling there?
555 Soul. They did a lot of no-name screen printed tees.
Okay.
That just had nothing in the neck.
Yeah.
It was just like a blank all-style tee, and with just a random. Yeah, like one of my favorite ones that I had back in the day was a Miles Davis tee that I just bought from Workman's Outlet. They had sneakers there too, I think, but that 555 Soul, Echo, they had a huge table with just stacks of just screen printed tees with no names in it.
So, with talking about some of your favorites from Melrose, what do you think are some of your favorite collabs specifically that the Hundreds has done in the entire brand history?
Like
what really sticks out to you? What was like a crazy release? You know, like whatever really sticks out.
There's so many of them.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously to me, it's more about nostalgia. So like, obviously what we see right now on camera is the Nerf footballs is one of my favorite ones. It's kind of hard to think on the spot like this. Our recent one that we did with Cartoon was really cool 2-3 years ago.
And that's in our front hallway, the big cat figure that was from that.
Yeah, we made some tools, toys with that one.
Did you watch that new cartoon documentary that was on Netflix?
I haven't seen that yet. I heard it's so good though.
I think it would resonate with you. It was definitely like I wasn't in LA in like that sort of 2000s era.
Yeah.
But like, of course, being involved in a brand like the Hundreds, I was just kind of like picturing like John and Ben and Bobby running around doing this in the city like during that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's tight. Okay, so you are the sneaker and fitted guy. Not a lot of people know how serious you come into the sneaker world, right? So you did your Secret Stash episode a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so since then, first of all, go YouTube John, is it John Hundreds probably?
I think it's under John Hundreds.
John
Yeah.
Hundreds secret stash, and you will see a very, very, very crazy compilation of sneakers.
Yeah.
So about when you filmed that, how many sneakers did you have, do you think?
At the time we did secret stash, at that time probably had close to 35 to 4,000 pairs of sneakers. It literally felt, I had a 2-bedroom condo at the time, and it literally took up the extra bedroom and the entire dining area of my condo. Just like racks and racks and racks, and then I didn't have any more racks, and then it turned into just shoes stacked from literally the floor to the ceiling.
Okay, so now what is your collection like now?
I'm probably down to about, I would say about 1,000 pairs of sneakers now.
Okay.
I got rid of a bunch of it. Kind of fell out of love with it when it turned into more of a, like, basically turned into a job, you know, dealing with like different people that just everyone turned into the reseller. That's when I kind of fell out of love with it, which was like 2015, 2016. StockX came into the game, Go came into the game, and just kind of made it so accessible for everyone to get their own sneaker. And that's kind of when I kind of just started falling off and didn't really collect anymore.
So just kind of segueing, one of the products we are featuring today on Greatest Hits episode 6. So if you're just joining us, we're here with John Shanasafar, the head of mixed media production, OG Hundreds member, and you're watching Greatest Hits. We air this every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then the cool thing about this is a live interactive show. So every single episode, we drop a new batch of one-of-one pieces straight from the Hundreds vault. So if you go ahead and click the shop tab, you can see what we have featured today. With that being said, we're going to start with the Adidas NBA Lakers collab. So this was one of my favorites, right? And so I was digging around in the archive room and I found my favorite pair of 100 sneakers. And yeah, so I just like wanted to ask, one, are you a Lakers fan?
Huge Lakers fan.
Huge Lakers fan.
Huge
so
Lakers fan.
Were you guys like super stoked when this entire thing got like lined up?
When I found out about it, I honestly didn't think that it would ever come to fruition, because it's just like one of those things that you're working with the Lakers. Like,
yeah, it's like
you never thought in a million years it would ever happen.
You're like from LA. And
exactly.
Stuff, so like you've had Lakers stuff since you're like a small child.
Yeah.
Right? So this Lakers Adam tee is available right now on Greatest Hits. You can go ahead and check out detailed shots. And I just kind of wanted to bring these out of the archive room to make all the viewers jealous. But yeah. So this is an Adidas skateboarding shoe, though, correct?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like multifunctional with like people really like love for basketball, but I'm still gonna go fucking shred Stoner Park in this, you know?
My favorite thing about this shoe is the insole with the craze.
Yeah, that label's so
tight. The label's so sick.
The name tag.
That name tag.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the thing that makes it just so official is the NBA logo on that tag.
Yeah, that's like really sick. So again, these are not for sale, but if you do want to take a piece of Lakers shirt, so all right, that is my new sound effect for the pieces being sold. So the Laker tee has sold, everybody. So like I said, this is an interactive shopping channel in real time. So don't sleep on these products. They're all one of one. Yeah.
Snooze, you lose.
You snooze, you lose.
Snooze,
man.
you lose.
So, shout out Daniel, my boy Daniel. Thank you for tuning in to Greatest Hits every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay, tight. So, yeah, Lakers tee, that's like pretty crazy, right? So, I guess let's move on to this one. So, this one is really cool because this is like clearly a tap out rip.
Yeah,
MMA,
100% it is.
MMA hit the 2000s so hard, like a kick to the forehead, you know? And so, yeah, can you just tell me a little bit of like the time and place of this t-shirt?
So I think the Tapout tee was late 2000s, early 2010. I'm a huge MMA fan, and I don't remember whose design concept it was, but I know for a fact that when we did do this tee, we we kind of talked to Tapped Out about it, not in like, hey, let's do a collabo, but like, you know, just to see, because I'm sure they knew about it because it was a straight direct rip off of Tap Out.
Yeah.
And, you know, they had no issue with it. They were cool with it. I was super hyped on it because, like I said, I'm a huge MMA fan, even to this day. I've been watching it for 20 years. So when we did it, I honestly, like, I think I had it in every single color. It was my favorite t-shirt at the time.
Yeah.
And then just to...
What were some of the other colors that you guys did?
I want to say we did obviously white, maybe red, and I think for some reason I remember a teal.
A teal?
Yeah.
So one thing I really like about this tee is actually the back.
Exactly. That's my favorite part about it.
This is so sick. It's just like, you know, Adams had a kind of a rough match in the octagon.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's the best part about it.
Yeah, that's the best part. So yeah, this is like, for sure. Did you, there was that Masvidal fight this past weekend, right?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Unfortunately, I did watch it. My boy didn't win.
Your boy didn't win. He did it. But yeah, so this is for sale. This is a 2X THLA, which was an old moniker that the brand used to use, right?
Yeah.
The Hundreds Los Angeles. The Hundreds kind of referred to the Hundreds, but this
Right.
kind of the Hundreds Los Angeles kind of defines an era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whatnot. So this is using one of the OG monikers, and of course, just like a great interpretation of the long-standing atom bomb. So yeah, this is for sale on Greatest Hits, 1 of 1, straight from the Hundreds vault, can be yours and part of your personal collection. And of course, just to remind everybody, if you have any questions, you know, we have John Shanasafar here with us. He's a production wizard, production god for all things clothing. So if you have any questions, you can always ask in the chat section next to the shop tab. So this is a live show. We're taking questions. Just let us know. Okay, let's move on. Let's do the Second Son's Ebbets jersey, man. So this is a pretty special piece, right?
Yeah.
Because Second Sons is kind of under the general Hundreds umbrella.
Correct.
Right. So can you tell us a little bit about, well, one, Ebbets Field. Can you tell us anything about Ebbets Field?
I didn't really work on this project too much because everything was made through Ebbets Field. So I didn't really get to dive into what the Ebbets Field project that we did. I was just super hyped that we made a jersey at the time, just in general, and especially to be an Ebbets Field jersey. I mean, yeah, that shit's sick to begin with. You know what I mean? Second Sons, always loved that name. Obviously, Second Sons is Ben and Bobby because they're both second sons respectively in our own families.
So you're Ben's older brother?
No, I'm Ben's younger brother.
Oh, so
but we have an older brother.
You have an older brother.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that makes Ben the second son.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Cool. And Bobby has an older brother also.
Bobby has an older brother and a younger brother.
Okay, cool. So yeah, something that's really, really cool about this piece is there was only 30 of these that were made.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like definitely one of the rarer pieces.
100%.
So yeah, just like show some details. So I really like Ebbets in general, just because it's such like a classic like American baseball story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And yeah, this is like some really cool like wool. It's very thick. Size medium. It's got like a very, very unique embroidery, sort of like old school athletic style. And then of course the 80, you know, the Hundreds was founded in 1980 with the birth of Ben and Bobby, because it's a reflection of their lives. So that's like cool, you know what I mean? And then also the same vibe on the back. So yeah, this is definitely one of the rarer pieces we have put up on Greatest Hits. Yeah, I know Bryce, the marketing coordinator here, he was like, he always be doing the stuff whenever we're like going through the inventory. He's like, we're like plugging in SKUs and stuff to upload on the back end of the website, and all of a sudden it's his time to shop. You know what I mean? So Bryce, if you're watching, man, the Second Sons Ebbets jersey is available now. Don't sleep on this stuff. Like I said, everything is 1 of 1. So you can add these gems from the Hundreds vault to your personal collection. Cool. So last episode, we dropped a hat pack, right?
Okay.
So I've noticed new eras are kind of like back up on the rise. Like people are like getting back into like that sort of style of headwear.
Yeah.
And so what goes along with the sneaker thing is you have a crazy new era collection, right? So can you just tell us a little bit about like, so new era was like the shit in the 2000s. It was almost like before there were sneaker collabs, the new era collab was like the thing. So why did you start like collecting new eras and stuff like that?
New eras was just in the mid 2000s. New era blew the fuck up. So it was so huge in the mid 2000s that all of a sudden everyone was wanting to do a collab with New Era, and it wasn't really that easy to get one. You kind of had to be able to somehow get your foot in the door with them.
Yeah.
But as soon as you got your foot in the door with them, the thing with New Era was the possibilities of what to make with a hat were literally endless. You could literally do anything on their New Eras. You know what I mean? Like for instance, this all over embroidery paisley. Like this is insane.
It's very good embroidery job, and it's like an old piece, and it like still has like a very strong look to it.
Yeah, that's the thing with like a New Era hat. This is from the mid 2000s. Like this hat's got to be 10 to 15 years old at the least. You know, so the fact that it's staying together for this long, that's what New Era was known for.
It's like such quality.
The quality of their hats, they last forever. You know what I mean? And in the mid 2000s, who really started that craze was Supreme. Like as soon as New Era started getting hot, they were the first ones on it, and they were cranking them out. And then once that happened, we got the side bomb Atom, and that was the craze. We had lines around the block.
Yeah.
For I remember the black one dropped, and on Rosewood we had like 200 kids in line.
Yeah.
And I remember there was this one cat that used to I don't know if he still does it. He throws one of the sneaker conventions, and I remember I was out front, and homeboy came up to me and was like, "Yo, can you get me in the front of the line?" I can't remember his name. Anyways, and I had no idea who the guy was. And he mentioned he threw one of the sneaker conventions, Sneaker Con or something like that. And anyways, make a long story short, the point I'm trying to get to is everyone was going crazy over that side Atom New Era. It was insane. And that's when I knew New Era was it was on a whole nother level. People were waiting in line for hats.
For like hats, yeah.
Instead of sneakers, you know what I mean? So, I mean, nowadays people wait in line for all kinds of shit. But it was just the craze, you know. And remember, I saw that you brought all these out.
I pulled some of these from the archive room earlier, and there's just like so many good hats that I just honestly took like the second stack. I was like, John, fuck with this. So.
Yeah, the thing is too, that's kind of cool about this is you pulled out snapbacks too, and it kind of shows the transition of New Era fitted to snaps to straps to dad hats, you know. So like no matter what it's constantly evolving.
5 panels
to 5 panels and all that, and now we're back at the original, which is New Eras.
So again, what John's going through is straight from the Hundreds vault, but what is for sale is this hat pack. We are selling these 3 hats as a set, and they are 7 5/8. So yeah, you can check out more detailed photos on the Hundreds or tv.thehundreds.com, the greatest hits collection. If you are just joining us, we are here with John Shanasafar. This is Greatest Hits. This is a retrospective and brand history of the Hundreds Vault, and this is a live shopping channel. So the products that we're going over, you can purchase live right now. Add these one-of-one pieces to your collection. John, continue, my friend.
So I was going through all these, right? And there's a few hitters. This is a Hall of Fame Hundreds
Upside Down
Atom. That was a hitter. This was the New York. I think this one was from New York. It was just the outline Atom, Navy, New York Yankees. I don't know if this one ever came out. I think these were samples. These are just the baseball. This one, I don't even know what color that is. This looks like a Raiders color, even though it's baseball. Outline side Atom.
The outline side arm's hard too.
Yeah, this one's kind of sick, right?
So that was like a continuation after the original side arm drop.
And I think this one was a hitter too.
Yeah.
This one was a huge hitter. And then right into snaps. This one actually was this one was sick.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, wait, what? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, so this was
now I remember this was a good collab that I don't even know if it ever came out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I had never really heard about it, but that's like really crazy.
That's kind of crazy.
So cross colors from the archive room, of course, not for sale. But this is a cross colors 100s. There we go. There's that focus, baby. There's that quality camera work.
Another collab that we did. This one was, June Cha. I think. Is it? I think this was June Cha. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was a collab with that famous tattoo artist June Cha before he was huge. It's got the craze like satin liner printed on the inside.
There we go. Honestly, this camera quality is like really crazy. So we're working with a new tech setup on Greatest Hits. We have upgraded the setup for your viewing pleasure. So thank you to all of the people that have helped the back end production of all of the THTV, the hundreds TV stuff that we've been doing. You are greatly appreciated. Shout out AWAD. Shout out Duke of London for running editorial. Shout out
Duke.
Ed. And then shout out to my friend John Shanasafar, who is joining us here today. So yeah, I want to segue into the Nerf stuff.
Oh shit.
So yeah, the 100 Nerf. So this was like a pretty big like licensing collab.
Yeah.
At the point for the brand, you know? Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I was like, honestly, I was trying to do more research about this collab and whatnot and look for more Nerf balls, but I couldn't really find more than like a couple up online. Then we were going through our archive and we were like, oh, wait, we have 3 of these. So, yeah, the Nerf, do you remember anything about this release, John?
I do remember it was one of my favorite ones because obviously the Nerf Turbo Balls, every kid had
like
one in the 90s,
you know? Essential. And there was always like,
essential.
yeah, bring it to the pool, get like 2 soaked with water, you'd have to go get a new
Exactly.
one. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, totally.
This is like the ultimate nostalgic collab that you could possibly do, you know, for a brand, all in all. Nerf was super huge. Nerf is just, it's Nerf. They're humongous. You know what I mean? And for us to do a Nerf Turbo football, honestly, that was a dream come true for us. And all the different colors, how we were able to set up the whole collab, like different shops got the different colors, doing the t-shirt, just like the whole thing, how everything came to fruition. It felt so just genuine.
Yeah. So this dropped in 2012. And what John was saying is every shop that the hundreds had at that point got a specific colorway. So there's only 50 of each color made, and you can only get them in store. So these are like insanely rare. They've actually never been available online. So this is the first time that some of this stuff can ever be purchased. And that's what's really cool about Greatest Hits is not only are we going through the hundreds history and the hundreds brand history and highlighting all of these great products from the past, but some of this stuff is literally the first time that we've either revisited it or even sold it online for the public. For your personal collection, the viewer who we love so much here at the Hundreds TV. So yeah, so we have 3 Nerf balls and the tee for sale now. So the Nerf balls are like extremely, extremely rare. And then of course, you know, this tee just kind of hits, you know, great logo lockup, great like reinterpretation of the Nerf font with the hundreds. And yeah, you can own this stuff for your personal collection. The tee is a size XL, and with all of this stuff, we do have detailed product shots and descriptions and more anecdotes and stories about each project, as well as the condition and the year it was produced. If you look at the shopping tab and look at the whole Greatest Hits collection. So yeah, John, I just really wanted to thank you for your time today, man. Really appreciate it. I
Anytime.
definitely hope we can get you on a reoccurring vibe.
I'm definitely down.
Because you have so much to say and you've done so much for the company and the brand and help it to get to the place that it is today. And it's really cool for me to be able to revisit that with people like you. So thank you, John. And so, yeah, that's it for this week's episode 6 of Greatest Hits. I would like to thank John for joining us, John Shanasafar, head of Mixed Media Productions. And then I really want to thank anybody who tuned in or shopped or copped a piece of vintage for your collection. You can find us here every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Hundreds TV. Also, check out our app and online shop to get your hands on any of the Greatest Hits pieces that you just saw featured on the show. And definitely make sure to follow the Hundreds Greatest Hits on Instagram. We tease product all week. We show behind the scenes stuff of how the show gets made, who helps, and exactly what stories we're going to be telling. So with that said, we'll see you next week.
Yo, that was so much fun. I loved it.